Hey everybody, Steve the Amateur Historian. How you all doing today? Before I get to today's video, remember, if you like what I do, you want to help me grow, help me keep being able to do what I do, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit up my Patreon if you want to help me out. Those all help me out, obviously. And I love you and appreciate you if you do that for me. And hey, I'm trying to do my intro, bruh. Anyway, all that said, let's get to today's video. Hey gang. You know it's meant to be when you wake up and there's a Lime scooter only a block from your house. On a whim, I'm going out today. Steve the Amateur Historian. Alright, weather's still a little bit peculiar, but it was raining earlier. They said it was going to rain earlier, and it's not supposed to rain the rest of the day, so I'm taking my shot. This scooter has been up and around the corner since yesterday, so I'm going to be real pissed if it's disappeared in the last 2 minutes. Now, apparently this ride is not fully charged, but when I really think about it, I really don't have too horribly far to go, because I want to spend today, there it is, I want to spend the day in the Woodstock neighborhood. The counter to this stroke of good fortune is even scooters that have been fully charged have been dying on me after about 15 minutes recently. And it says this one is like got about 2/3 of a battery, so I really don't know if it's gonna get me there. It just depends on how reliable this sumbitch is gonna be, so we'll see. We're unlocking. Okay, come on. Crap, okay, yeah, we're already at half a dead battery. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but let's try. honestly don't know how I'm still moving right now. Well, finally had to give up on that dream. But honestly, I'm coming to Foster and 72nd. I'm only 12 blocks from Woodstock, so I'm still gonna do it. This is new. I don't remember this ugly behemoth being here. So I'm gonna straddle through Foster. Probably walk through this kind of cool little area of Foster with, again, talked about this in the past, a lot of cool old buildings, but not a lot of them are like marked as uber historic, even though you can tell they are. I haven't driven in a long time because this is I used to go through here every day when I went to work, and it used to be very open. This was a very open area, and now this behemoth is here. So I remember, yeah, there's this little island that kind of splits up 72nd into two roads. I've always loved the look of this place. Maple Leaf Diner. There's like, I don't know, they got the road blocked with like a tow truck over here, so I'm gonna go like one block up and circle around this mess. Okay, so while I was in the middle of doing that last clip, there was a house over here, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 houses back. And one of the houses had like the front door, it was just a white door with like the big kind of window that fills in the upper half of the door. And there was a person just inside the house, just standing there, staring out the window, just like... They were doing it when I came around the corner, so I know that I wasn't their inspiration for being there, but I don't know about these people. I'm just gonna keep my mask on until I get to the other side of Foster, just because there's, you know, it's a busy, whenever I'm on the busy streets, I just keep it on, because you never know when a bunch of people are gonna pop up. And well, like 2 days ago, we had like our worst day of COVID in Oregon, like 565 new cases. It's spiking real quick. Anyway, so yeah, so by the time my venture's done, this is why I didn't want to be starting on the northern end of Woodstock, which I am, is because I need to come back north in order to get a scooter. This whole area, like pretty much between 82nd Division, almost all the way over to Selwood, there's like that whole massive area. I just looked on my line map, there's like 2 or 3 scooters total, and 2 of them are dead. I want to say they're like revitalizing it. I think this is called the Phoenix Building. It has this really cool rounded front edge that I just love, but it's a little worse for wear. Foster the Phoenix. I love this. Well, you know it's going to be one of those days when your iPhone decides to be a dick to you. And my old iPhone does this thing from time to time where you delete all the video that's already on there and it's gone, but your phone still acts like it's taking up the space on your phone. So it's sitting here saying that it's full and it won't undo. So I just turned it off for a while. But I want to get a full view of this cool old building, the Phoenix Building. And I think this is 67th and Foster. So yeah, so I'm gonna be maybe bobbing back and forth between my GoPro and my regular iPhone, which I can't afford to use too much battery life on because I need to get a scooter to go home and I need my phone to have battery life to do that. And I love this old stretch. There's some stuff over here, but most of the good stuff is over here. Man, this building's seen better days. This is the old Bob White Theater that I don't really know. I don't know how long it's been kind of out of business. You can see there's the little God, I've been out of work so long, box office. And you go through there, I suppose. But yeah, it's been kind of out of commission for a little while. It's pretty cool up here, but I've been up there, I know what it has to offer. So I'm gonna cross here so I can actually start being on the right side of these busy ass roads. Didn't this used to be a gaming place? I swear that's where it was, because my old friend, Josh, he used to go there all the time to play like Magic with his friends, some of whom were also kind of my friends. And yeah, because I remember some of the people that hung out there lived in this apartment complex. So yeah, he dragged me there, and of course I was not remotely interested in that kind of stuff. Not judging you if you are, I just was never into it. So he'd, the exchange sometimes was he would give me a ride home from work, but we'd go there for a couple hours, and I would just like bring my laptop and work on stuff, and kind of do my own thing while he did his Magic. And yeah, that's crazy. Of course, I haven't seen Josh regularly for like 5 years, so a lot can happen in that amount of time, but it's crazy to see that place just completely different, because that place was popular. That place was hopping with people. I'm already like vlogging a bunch of stuff, even though I'm not even in the right area yet. I'm close. Ooh, where are you going with that nut, squirrel? Guess it's for me to find out. But yeah, this is a piece of history. Wow. Yeah, once you get past 82nd, the churches get very amazing. Okay. Heck. I don't know where you can see it. People they have a T-Rex and a bunch of old doors looking over their property. Man, I am in Portland right now. God, I'm dumb. I deleted all my video from the other day, but I didn't actually permanently delete it. See, recently deleted. God. So there I was, bitching like an idiot. Come on. Or it might just be taking a second because it's a lot of video to delete it once. There we go. Now let's see what you're showing me. I just deleted it and put it in my recently deleted folder and just thought it was gone, even though I've gone through this process 50 billion times. There we go. Now I've got like 9 gigs of space. Sometimes the amateur historian just can't hold it together. I kind of scattered through here a couple of years ago when I was shooting video for a planned documentary about all the demolitions that were happening and the really expensive houses that were taking their space and the crisis that was resulting from that, raising the cost of living, all of that stuff. And then, as the story goes, one morning while I was shooting some video for that series, God, that's really cool. That was when I got my camera mugged off of me. So I went a couple months without having a camera, and by the time I finally got my camera back, I was working on another project, and that project unfortunately kind of fell by the wayside. But I'm actually going to be in Woodstock. I'm actually have made it. I have so many people to thank. Mostly Anybody but myself. Hell yeah, brother. Yay, now the old iPhone's cooperating because I actually finished deleting the videos that were on there. Woohoo, what a concept. This is cool. But that being said, there have been times where I've fully deleted video and my iPhone has thought that the stuff was still there. I actually had to... I'm at 60th. Woodstock is right across the street. I did once have to literally restore my iPhone because I couldn't figure out how to get it to acknowledge that I deleted all this stuff. It was when I was first trying to film in Maywood Park, and it just would not, the phone would not acknowledge that I deleted this video. And so yeah, I just restored it to factory settings, and that was like the best way to clear, actually make that stuff clear, and the phone would know that it was cleared. And of course, all I really use this phone for now is vlogging, so restoring to factory settings doesn't really affect me at all. Ooh, is that a University of Portland reference? This thing says Go Pilots with purple on it. Wow, this is really cool. This is awesome. That's how you make a yard beautiful. I was just thinking, you know, spots like this where like it's literally Woodstock over here, Mount Scott over here, at least I think this side's Mount Scott. That's got to be interesting in terms of like, because you know, you have neighborhood groups, you have neighborhood associations, they're only the people that live in the neighborhood. And you live on a street that's a dividing line, like 60th right there. And I'm just wondering what that's like. You know, people on one side of the street can talk to the people across the street about just completely different things that are happening that are big deals in their neighborhood, and yet they're right across the street from one another. I don't know if that actually happens, but it's an interesting thing to consider. But yeah, now that I've made it, I actually am kind of like tired. Oh. For information, $2,500 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons involved with the murder of Paul Kreckler, murdered July 22nd, 2014. He was killed at the corner of 57th and Herald, which is back this way and just a little bit over. So this is like an unsolved murder case from a few years ago. At least they're keeping it alive. It's probably the family or really close friends or a combination of the two. Yeah, Woodstock. Again, you know, I've only kind of plowed through the Woodstock area once, didn't really see a whole lot. But it's mostly residential, but I do want to make my way down to Woodstock Boulevard. Because I know it has kind of one of those cool little stretches. That might actually be way further down from here and outside of the actual Woodstock neighborhood. Because Woodstock Boulevard, you know, goes east and west. And so it goes outside of the actual neighborhood itself. But it's still like one of the main hubs through this area. There's not a lot of commercialism around here. And something I'm noticing about the streets in this neighborhood, they are wide. It ain't that narrow nonsense that perpetuates a lot of other neighborhoods. That is an alleyway. There are some even down here. I know the alleyways went this far south. I know just a little bit northeast of here, they have kind of a cool smattering of alleyways, but apparently there's the occasional alleyway down here too. There, you know, a lot of towns, depending on, you know, which one it is, have alleyways all over the place, but Portland has them peppered in certain areas. Huh. Well, I'm just finishing crossing Ramona Street. As in Ramona Quimby, the famous stories. If this is another alleyway, I'm gonna go down it. Because I think there's a busy street right up here. I think that's Woodstock, because I don't really know of any other uber busy streets in the area. But yeah, this looks like it's another alleyway. Yeah, wow. See, these are the alleyways I like, because they're all sketchy. Those Lads Edition alleyways, those are for the bougie people. There's probably one. Yeah, it goes back through there. This is so interesting. I didn't know these existed in this area. I always feel a little odd about walking down these too. I feel like I'm borderline walking into somebody's backyard just because a lot of people use these to park their vehicles. Ooh, that looks like one hell of a ride. Hell yeah, brother. He thinks so. Oh God, I have that Escape song stuck in my head. If you like pina coladas. Some guy was playing it in his garage when I walked by. Now it's stuck in my head. Thanks, man. Yeah, this is a little more how they are in like the Powell Foster neighborhood. Just, the alleyways are just kind of here. Not really maintained, probably not even really used that much. I only saw one spot back there where a car actually was pulled in just off the alleyway, so probably doesn't get used a lot. But they're cool little hidden gems of this neighborhood, as is the case with certain other areas. I know, like up around Killingsworth, there's a lot of these. Down by like the Mississippi area, those various parts in northeast Portland have alleyways. Foster-Powell neighborhood has them, and a bunch of doors and other wood pieces. Alright, now I'm coming down just a little further than I was before. Oh my God, dead body alert. I'm out. What kind of abandoned trash heap is this? You got a book, some baby shoes, like a dog dish, mason jar, whatever the heck those are. Oh yeah, like little things for your garden. Filter, Krispy Kreme paraphernalia. That was a doozy. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get my mask up on my ears because Woodstock is a little heavily traveled. Not horribly from what I've gathered, but there be people. So this is kind of a mix of residential and commercial through here. And just as quickly as I got to Woodstock, I turned off Woodstock. I'm going north on 52nd. And the Woodstock neighborhood, I guess I could slip this off again. The Woodstock neighborhood is almost shaped like a sideways frying pan. Or maybe not quite a frying pan, maybe a sideways pot. Because it's like a box, but then there's like a little strip that comes off the end that continues going south. Now, if I had more time, because this is a very spur-of-the-moment venture, if I had more time, more energy, and it wouldn't be completely going in the opposite direction I want to go if I want to actually get home at a reasonable time, because it practically almost takes you to the Portland border with Milwaukee, I would go down there. But there's this little strip a few blocks wide that continues south towards alleyways, towards Milwaukee. It actually takes you, I think it starts on 52nd and kind of goes that way. And yeah, there's Errol Heights Park is right on the bottom edge of the town, and I went there about 2 years ago. Had a little exploration through there. It's a cute, it's not that big, but I think it's more there as like kind of a nature area for you to just walk through and like take in the beauty around you, as opposed to like a walking around park. Aha! Ramona Quimby, we meet again. And just for those who don't know, because they're either too young or they weren't paying attention in kindergarten, there was a series of books. When I was a kid, they were very prominent. Our teachers read them to us all the time, and there were stories about this kind of mischievous girl named Ramona. There's There's not a lot going on. 50 seconds, so I'm just gonna break off. And this is actually the exact way I went when I actually remember when I was taking video of like new developments and demolitions. I remember going this way. I remember this stoplight, and I remember these homes here were still being built, because again, this was like 3.5 years ago. Yeah, I'm gonna start going down Ellis Street. And yeah, from what I remember, there were just stories about this, you know, little girl who got herself into trouble all the time, shenanigans. And her full name was Ramona Quimby. Ramona is the street over there. There's also a Quimby Street further north in Portland. And yeah, you see a lot of references in Beverly Cleary's works, because she wrote those stories. She's a very popular artist. She wrote Mouse and the Motorcycle, my personal favorite. And she, if I'm correct, grew up and or lived on Klickitat Street. I remember we all had to, in 4th or 5th grade, we had to write like a picture book where we drew the pictures and wrote a story. And I did a complete parody on the Magic School Bus. And it was called, but they were cats. And it was called Mrs. Klickitat. It was called like Mrs. Klickikat's Rock Adventure. So Mrs. Klickitat was essentially the Miss Frizzle. And I did the whole thing from like where you'd when you'd flip through Magic School Bus books, they'd have like the little like essays that the kids would write on the pages. And you would look like they were written works on real like lined paper. And I did that thing. I kind of just, faked it and made it out, and it was just being informative about rocks. I'm sure I still have that somewhere. I had to do a video on that where I just pull out all the stories that I wrote in elementary school, because it was a very interesting mix of things all coming out of this 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid. Okay, that, especially in light of recent events, that was disconcerting. I didn't like that. All the red flags were there. Maybe it's just a kind of sketchy guy who doesn't realize he's sketchy. But as I was coming to the intersection there and turning to go this way, this guy was backing his truck. He had one of those big Proud Boy kind of trucks. I videoed him a little bit because I honestly thought he might do something, because you don't know with that bunch. And he was backing up into the street in front of me, he was starting to block my route off. And he was moving very slowly, and he was sitting at the helm of his truck, and he was just he was doing this thing. He was looking around really intensely. It was kind of a little troublesome, and he was gripping his wheel really hard, and he kind of stared me down, and I'm like, what the F? Ooh, that's cute. And then he kind of slowly was pulling forward, and then he kind of stopped on the shoulder, but he had his truck was still running. It was everything about it was really sketchy. He looked to me like a proud boy looking for people to mess with. Probably not the case, but that's what he looked like. Wow, these people really hold nothing back. Not on Halloween. There's a big park up here, I noticed, Woodstock Park, which makes sense. Yeah, man, this is a hefty park, and there's a lot of people here today. Which means I probably should just I don't know if I want to walk through a park with so many people in it, considering recent events. Ooh, absolutely. Oh God. From this recording, the election is in I mean, it's like 5 days now, 4 or 5 days. Oh, God. Oh, maybe I can cut through here. Because it looks like this is where the park begins. Yeah, it's huge. It's a, as the Australian mouse and the rescuers down under said, it's a jumbo. Tennis only? Nobody playing tennis today? I mean, tennis seems like one of the safest sports to play. You're at least keeping a distance. Unless you got a teammate, then you got to be like, hey, Frankie, quit getting so damn close to me when the ball's coming. Pick and choose your lane, bro. This is the most jacked up. Oh, actually, I think this is just permanently like this. I thought this was a door. I'm like, that's kind of jacked up, feller. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot more. It's really pretty over on that side of the park, but I'm gonna just go down and kind of circle around the outside. God, everywhere I go, there's someone grinding up mulch or using a leaf blower, and there's some guy over there. I hear him. They're chopping up wood. So obviously, I can't see all of Woodstock, but I mean, it's mostly residential, and it's a cute little area. I mean, I wouldn't complain about having to live here. No worries, I just sanitized my hands. So I'm itching my nose. So yeah, I'm just kind of like meandering back and forth, trying to capture at least to a degree the essence of the area. Because I don't, I live in Southeast Portland, but Southeast Portland is so big. Overall, there's lots of places I really don't go to that often. So recently on my walkabouts, I've been kind of exploring more stuff in this area that I don't see as often. Because of course in the past I've been in downtown all the time. And recently I've been in the vicinity around my house ceaselessly. And I've been to, Northwest Portland, North Portland. I spent a good chunk of the end of last summer exploring a lot more places I'd never seen that much of. Beaverton, Tigard, the west side of Lake Oswego, all that stuff. So yeah, it's just about just seeing more and more and more and more. Giving a full feel of what this whole big Portland area is all like. We're all about, whatever. Stepping into the park a little bit. Ooh, someone got a little tipsy under the tree. Yeah, it's my favorite spot to get drunk too. I just saw this, and it's like the one part of the park that nobody's really around. But see, we're starting to get that real awesome autumn look. You can just kind of see the yellows and the greens and the oranges and whatnot. There's just this cool building here in the middle of it all. It's probably a maintenance building. That's usually what these old beat up buildings are for, but I always love it in old parks when you can find cool things like this. Seating area. That's cool. Nothing too fantastic, but autumn has fallen. Yeah, it still doesn't really look like this in a lot of other places yet, but then again, there's not a whole lot of other places I've been to that have this many trees that are, losing their leaves. I think this couple thinks I'm following them. Right when I was first starting, when I abandoned my scooter, there was a woman walking her dog, and she turned and went another way when I got off the scooter. And then like several blocks later, when I turned back north, all of a sudden we encountered each other again. And I just saw her kind of, seemed like she kind of hurriedly, I hate that word, it's hard to say. She kind of in a hurrying manner, like kind of rushed her dog into the house. I think she might have thought I was following her, and I hate that. Like what are you gonna do? You have a planned direction you're going in, and if someone's gonna go the same direction you're planning on going in, that's just how things work out. But it's also, we are in the times we are where people gotta, sometimes people just gotta keep looking over their shoulder. Oh man, they're gonna put something ugly and expensive right here. Yeah, that's another thing is the Woodstock. I mean, again, it's part of the reason why I was roaming around this area a couple years ago. Was this is one of those areas that they've really tried to hit some of the nicer parts of Southeast Portland, because if it's nicer, you can charge more money for people to live there, and if you can get a property fairly cheap, you know you're going to make a good solid profit off of it. I'm thinking about going back down to Woodstock. It's only a couple blocks down, wrapping towards, it ends at Cesar Chavez, which used to be 39th. So it's, the neighborhood's about 21 or so blocks wide for the most part. And then it goes north and south between Duke to the south and Holgate to the north. So it's actually not that big of an area. It looks bigger on the, when you look at it on a map, than it is actually like going through it. It's just a charming walkabout. Got some people walking this way. Well, there was a mailman in front of me. He disappeared. Solve the mystery. What happened to the mailman? What are you up to? The mailman. Even in Woodstock, the roadways are not improved. It's not enough to stop me. Yeah, so even in kind of nicer areas like this, there's stretches of road that haven't been paved. It's a real oddball thing, at least according to outsiders. I know I mentioned it before, but girl I hired to do sound on my film that I did, Till I Found You, she originally moved here from New York, and she said that this was so bizarre to her to see so many random stretches of road in Portland unpaved, that was just such a foreign concept to her coming from that area. And there's, numerous possible reasons of why. One is usually whenever money goes into the transportation budget, or we pass some bill to spend more money on transportation, fixing up roads, doing stuff like that, that money ends up getting pilfered and used for other stuff. And oh boy, I could go on all day about that stuff. But we're here to enjoy the Woodstock neighborhood. And yeah, here's one of the more recent, soon-to-be new additions to the neighborhood. That it's probably going to be multiple units. They're going to charge like $400,000, $500,000 per unit. That's kind of how they do. So this is actually a Safeway. I didn't know there was a Safeway here. It's interesting. Usually Safeways are a little bit more along like really busy streets, like highways, or like 2 lanes going each way. So this is kind of a smaller setup there to be a Safeway on, but to each their own. So this is 46th, and then Woodstock is the crossing street right up here. I'm just gonna walk a little more down Woodstock till I get to Cesar Chavez. There's the, I thought this is, okay, that says, where's the actual Safeway? You got your New Seasons over here. That's very Woodstockish. Oh, okay, the Safeway's like way over here. But I guess they have a claim on this building, I don't know. Okay, so that makes sense. The Safeway's over here. I was like, this seems like a very cramped area for that. And this is actually kind of an old sign for Safeway, with this spire on it. Yeah, this is definitely old. This has definitely been here a while. Or actually, no, it's actually across the street up here. God, you gotta walk a long way to get to, oh no, there's the Safeway. I was wondering where all these people were coming from. You got this cool little bakery building here. It's a Grand Central Bakery. Oh man, they make good stuff. I haven't been to a Grand Central in a hot minute. Oh man, I'm getting hungry for some bread, but not just any kind of bread. Forgot about this spot. Nudie Noodle Place. I've always wanted to go there. And then this guy had to stop his truck and ruin my life. Oh, Chinese food sounds good. Every kind of food imaginable sounds good to me right now. Ooh, flashy. Everything's flashy. Okay, I love this too. This place over here. Wine, cheese, and food, domestic imported. How do you not like that combination of things? So yeah, you go through here. It's not as flashy as other, like, stretches, like, Woodstock, or I'm on Woodstock, like Hawthorne, Belmont, things like that. But this area has its little charms as well. It's kind of serving a kind of similar vibe to those areas. Just a little bit more subtle about it. All right, so coming to about to cross 41st in Woodstock, so I'm almost to the western edge of the actual Woodstock neighborhood. And yeah, it goes like 2 or 3 more blocks that way, but that's not too much. I don't remember exactly how far Woodstock goes. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember our bus would come up to here and then go north on Cesar Chavez. And this house, there's been someone working on this yellow house here forever. It looks like there's still, like, the porch is a little messed up, but somebody's still working on that house. What's happening? Yeah, and if you keep going down Woodstock, things start getting a lot more bougie, because I'm close to, like, the Reed neighborhood and Eastmoreland. Yeah, it says Reed College is right down here. Oh, well, don't mind if I do. So yeah, we start going down in a burning ring of fire. Check out the cone-shaped rooftop. Yeah, you notice how all of a sudden, like, the whole vibe changes? Well, that is a big-ass cat. But look at this. Is that not adorable? I would live there in a hot second. Gladly. Got the stairwell that leads up there, up to it too. That is amazing. Okay, well, I'm out of the Woodstock neighborhood now, and I'm wandering downhill, so I'm wondering why I'm doing a lot of the things that I'm doing right now. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed my little circle through the Woodstock neighborhood. Just, again, taking in some new spots I don't see that often, showing you some areas that I haven't really shown that much on my channel, So I thought you all might enjoy that, and even those of you that aren't from around the area, don't know much about the area, you might be interested. Oh, that's what that kind of part of Portland looks like, because that's how I am about other, big cities. Oh, that neighborhood in that city, what does that look like? So I like it, and I figure other people probably at least kind of enjoy it. So there you go. Portland, Oregon, America. And that's all. Got a little Black Lives Matter in chalk on these people's apartment building. That's really cool. But anyway, as always, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit up my Patreon as always. The link is in the description as always. And also the link to my Instagram is in the description as well, because a lot of the stuff that's in my Instagram is in relation to what I'm doing on my channel. And all that said, as always, till next time, my friends, fellow adventurers, what have you, this has been Steve the Amateur Story, and I'll see you next time.